Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn here, and thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court, where today we are covering ODDTAXI Episode 7. I hope that you'll enjoy my reaction and my review where we discuss, analyze, and theorize. But before we get into it, let me remind you that you should subscribe if you want to get notified about my ODDTAXI uploads. You should join the Discord server to talk with me and my community, or you can follow me on other social medias as well, like Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all of that fun stuff. And thank you to all of the patrons and YouTube membership members in Calxiyn's Royal Court for monetarily supporting the channel directly. It helps me to make the videos I want to make, and you all get some cool rewards as well, like exclusive access to my full-length timer and subtitle reactions for everything that I watch, as well as seeing the reviews early and a bunch of other cool stuff as well. So if you want to support the channel while getting those rewards, you can check that out, and the link is in the description. And without further ado, let us get into it. He probably doesn't go to school. Oh my god! Bro! Oh no! Damn. Damn! So they know he's a clout chaser. Jesus. Oh my god. Ew. Well, that's weird. It looks shiny. Little trail of gold or something. Oh! A bullet! Well, that's great. So somebody tried to shoot at him. Is that what that dust? Oh, it wasn't like gold dust. It was like from the, how do you say? The debris. Oh my god, no, Kakihana! Why is he like this? I hate it here. Oh no, Kakihana! You idiot! Jump out the window! Okay, well, I guess not. Oh yeah, come on, sir! Think for yourself. Maybe he's his brother. That's funny. Oh, I think it's happening though. I think it's legit happening. Oh my god. See, because they even made a joke about it. I don't think that's a joke. I think that's reality. Oh my god. Damn. No, of course not. Oh, this guy, he's lost without his brother. Oh my god, this is so cool to see him all alone. Wait, what? Damn, that's funny. You don't intend for the police to do the job. Oh. Oh. Oh, they never came back. Oh no, this is gonna be bad. See, this is the flashback. Oh. Damn. So it literally was taxi drivers killed my parents, like I said in the other review video. That's not good. Oh no. Oh, damn. He chooses black when we play Othello? What does that mean? Ooh, that's interesting. But I don't... Oh my god. Oh god, he drew a diagram. He's just spelling it out for him. Oh my god. I think they're really playing up the fact that he's the dumb one. They don't need to go this far. Oh, okay. Wait, so he did rob a bank. Yeah, that is a good question though. Like, why is Damon doing it in the first place? That's a very good question. Like, why he's even doing it. Damn. So what if your brother's evil? Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Oh, that is true. He's subscribed. I'm like, I'm subscribed to Tachi's YouTube channel. Oh no, oh no. Oh damn, look how he like scratched out like Miho on the chart. Oh no. Is he really though? I thought that Miho was just making that up though. Oh. Oh, he's like, oh, that's fine. Oh, look at him. Is he really? I feel like that he... Damn. I feel like that he's like not? Like, is he really so, like, innocent and idealistic, or is it just an act, you know? Oh, we finally get to see what's in the room, though! That's what I was saying! Oh my god, okay. It's gonna be just a cat, bro. But what if he doesn't open the door? What if he decides to just trust Odokawa anyway? Oh, wow. Like, what if that was just a Well, that's not good. That's probably... Well, that's probably her, right? Unless it's somebody else. That would be so cool, though, if, like, Odokawa was bluffing and, like, the high school girl was in his closet. Like, not cool. Like, it wouldn't be cool, but it would be funny. It would have been pretty funny. It must be just a cat, bro. I can't believe that Odokawa... No. It's just a cat. Oh, see? So it was the body from episode 1. Oh, man. But does that mean that it was the... Oh, okay. So it's a woman. So that would mean that he doesn't have the girl in his closet, like, in theory. You know what I mean? Damn, Miho is still texting. Jeez. I don't believe anything that she says. I don't believe shit. Okay. Oh, okay, so yeah, Dobu let her go like they said. Okay, well. Damn. Gariki's just here like, bro, what's going on? Because, like, out of everything, Gariki is, like, the least connected to, like, everything going on. Like, he's just like, what's Odokawa been up to, bro? Oh, man. Your work? Well, what are you doing now? Oh, he wants her back at the clinic? After all of that? No! This is so sus! This is so sus! No. Don't do it! Don't do it, Kakihana! This is so... Wait, what if she's the one who hits him? I thought that it was gonna be the bad guys, but what if it's him? Oh no! They're gonna whack this man! Wait, what? Why? What? Why them? Why do they want him? Like, they could rob him, I guess, or they're delivering him to the loan sharks. Oh, Yano! That's not good. Wait, what the hell is happening? Why is he rapping? What is happening? What is going on? I don't even... Where am I? I don't even know where I am anymore. What is happening? He talks in rap songs? Is this like another feature of Odokawa's imagination? Yeah, what? Guys, I don't even know. People lose their minds on all... I'm lost. I'm so lost. Whoa, look at Rui. She's fucking pissed. Oh my god, she's big mad. Damn. Rui is so pissed. Yeah, so what? Like, what are they gonna do about Kakihana? Like, they said they called it Badger Games, but what is that? I like how he's like, I doubt anyone else would recognize you, but like to us it's so clear. But I guess it's because like they're only animals to Odokawa, right? Okay. Right, because she looks like an animal to him, right? Something like that. Right, because he's wearing a mask. Yeah. Oh, right. I wonder if Tachi's being, like, mobbed by fans, though. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, Imai's there! Oh, I wanted to see more of the singing. Oh, man. Oh, see, they have the pen now. That's gonna be interesting for the audio drama, right? Oh, look at all their costumes, like little fairy princess. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, no, but that's not him. Does he rap all of his dialogue? Why? What is happening? I don't even... Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. So he was washing his hands because he's gonna do a crime. Well, that's not good. What the fuck? Bro, it's not him! Whoa! That's not a real gun, though. to start with this. And now Odokawa was like complicit in the crime, bro. That's not good. That's gonna be bad. Oh no. Yeah, Kakihana has no money, sis. Okay. Oh. So they're just, okay. Oh. I wonder if he's trying to like get information from him. You played the hero and I played the bad guy. Well, that's not good. Oh, man. Why? That is true. That is kind of true. Damn, well, what lies deep down about Halloween, though, is the question, I guess. Jealous? Oh, I see. So he's like psychoanalyzing him. Well, that's interesting. Oh, he's kind of like abusive. Like he's kind of manipulative. You know what I mean? Like he's like kind of forcing his brother into like submission. That's not nice. Damn. Yeah, I agree though. Littering is a big deal. But is that the older brother that is getting this like heated about littering? Like that's kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Oh, maybe it's the other way. Like the guy is being like, oh. It's so hard to tell which one's which. I think it was the brother, the little brother, about the littering. And they said, you know, his type of justice is unfair or something. I don't know. There's definitely something here, but I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. All right, everybody, let us get into the review. And first with this scene, I thought that this was super funny because I feel like that this guy, like all of his classmates just know that he's a clout chaser, right? Because he doesn't come to school anymore. He got cocky by putting the name of his college out there, but he's actually scared. So he's too scared to come back to class, right? People online might treat him like a god, but among us, he's famous for being a coward who's desperate for recognition, right? So they all know, like in real life, he has like always been like a clout chaser, right? And so he doesn't actually act for justice or anything like that. And I feel like that that's actually really interesting just because like I feel like that he has like spiraled out of control, this man. And then we have the scene with Odokawa basically arriving back home, and I thought that this was like gold? What? Like shiny pixie dust? No, it's glass from the window because of the bullet, I guess you could say. And people were actually like counting the bullets in the thread that I read on Reddit, like the threads from back when the show was airing week to week, so no spoilers or anything in them, obviously. And somebody said that he has 3 bullets left if there are 6, and there's like, you know, if it was fully loaded, and that's like the amount of ammo that the gun has or something. Because he did like a warning shot, something else, and like now there's a bullet like in the wall, right? And so yeah, he did the warning shot like in the air, right? That's the first shot we heard. Then he shot at the comedian guy. That's the second shot. And now like we have this bullet hole as if it is him, right? Like if it is you know, the gotcha guy, obviously. Like, that's only assuming that it is. And then we have Kakihana. So he's preparing for a date where he's gonna propose to Shiho. And, like, Kakihana is just, like, he is not in a good position right now. And we even see him, like, exactly where he is at the end of the episode, getting beat up and everything. So I guess the idea was to, like, I don't know, it could be one of two things, because I still don't understand. They say that they're running a Badger game, and that's, like, extortion. But, like, what's the extortion part? Are they gonna, like, steal Kakihana's credit cards now that he's tied up? Are they gonna be, like, you know, wire us this amount of money or we'll kill you? Or is it just, like, to get these men to buy the engagement ring and then pawn off the rings for money? Because that's the only thing I don't understand. Like, how is beating up Kakihana gonna help with, like, you know, extorting him for money? Unless they say one of those 3 things, basically, is wire us money or we'll kill you, you know, give us all your stuff, or if it was just, like, for the engagement ring, I guess. And so, yeah, I guess that those are all, like, probable right? And so he goes to go out, but he can't because of the loan shark, basically. Like, they have come to collect, you know, the debt and everything. And so it seems like they did try to, like, stomp open the door, because we do see that in another scene, but instead of, like, going out the window or anything, he just, like, hides under a blanket and waits for them to leave, which I thought was kind of funny. So then we have the little brother police officer who is eating his lunch and, like, reading a manga, it seems like, and so he says, like, what's with you, taxi driver? Are you turning yourself in? Yeah, you're here to turn yourself in, huh? What did you do? I'm eating over here, right? And so anyway, they go on to say, like, where's your brother today? Because I don't think that Odokawa wants his brother around, because obviously, like, anything that's reported will basically get disregarded by his brother, because his brother's, like, corrupt and being paid off, right? Perfect, I'm reporting an incident. What? Somebody fired a gun into my house. That's major. Why didn't you call the emergency number? And that's because, like, what if the corrupt brother showed up, right? So I feel like that's why he basically went to the police station. And also, I think that Odokawa changed his hat to the one that he wears in the OP. I think that something like that happened, and so it's interesting because he wants to call his brother, and it's sort of, like, implied with this in the audio drama that they've always been, like, attached at the hip, that he sort of depends on his brother, right, to know what to do and to, like, do everything for him, and he just sort of follows and, like, takes orders, you know? I do think that this was interesting because he does say, maybe I'm my brother, and I know that in this case, I do think that he's just joking, but I feel like that's definitely set up for the switcheroo that I've basically been talking about, like, this entire time, like, since the anime started. I've been saying that, and this is also interesting because it says, yeah, like, grandma loved that joke, and, like, that's not, like, a big, you know, thing or anything, but, like, when I read it, like, in hindsight now, I'm like, oh, well, their parents died, so they were probably raised by their grandparents, right? So it's just one of those little things that I noticed that I think is, like, really interesting. I just thought that this conversation was funny because he was like, yeah, like, you know, isn't this awkward because you have the high school girl locked up in your house, right? And then he's like, of course not, and I'm like, but if y'all really thought that, wouldn't you get a search warrant? But I guess they don't have any proof, right? And so, yeah, like, you know, you're contaminating the crime scene, Odokawa, so I feel like, though, he does say, like, you know, he doesn't want to follow a report. He just kind of wants to use it as evidence and then, like, basically explain to him, like, what's been going on, which is where we get, like, the little, you know, chart, I guess, later. And so, yeah, then he says, you know, I didn't intend for it to become a police case, like, I just wanted to show it to you. And I love this. Suppose I go to blank at night and get absolutely plastered. The trains aren't running, so I call for a taxi and you show up. What would you think if I told you I don't intend to go home? I thought that was pretty funny. I do really like his dialogue. I like seeing his personality shine more, right? And so I feel like that he basically just called him over here to almost, like, convince him. So then he asks, like, why did you want to become a police officer? And then he says, to punish evil. Why did you want to punish evil? And we actually see he kind of, like, looks straight on, and then he kind of, like, looks, like, away for a minute, but I don't think that I caught that. It doesn't seem like I did anyway, but he kind of, like, hesitates, like, he looks to the left, I guess you could say, right? And so now we get their backstory, I guess you could say, like, both of their backstories. And so they're going out, right? And so they got hit while they were out. Our parents were killed by a hit and run driver, by a taxi no less. It's interesting because I do wonder if that could be Odokawa and they just don't know, because, like, they seem to be, like, maybe in their 20s, right? But Odokawa is, like, in his 40s, right? So he could theoretically been the 25-year-old, like, taxi driver that, like, did that or something like that. Just, I wonder if that could be, like, the connection, you know? But this kind of plays into what I was saying before. Like, that was kind of, like, I made a joke, right? About, like, oh, you know, is this gonna be like the Dalmatians killed my parents from the Cruella movie? Now, like, that is not actually in the Cruella movie. We talked about that last time. My editor put a little note, but I made that joke and now I'm just like, oh, it is, in a sense, right? But, like, I don't know. Like, I do feel bad, though, right? Because it's, like, any taxi driver, like, could be out there, or, like, you know, that did it and they're still out there, or, like, taxi drivers don't have, like, respect for the rules of the road. They just want to make money. Because we did see that, like, shady guy, you know, basically that was driving the taxi for the gotcha murderer, and he was like, oh, yeah, like, that's my favorite thing to hear as a taxi driver, just follow that taxi. So there may be some merit to the, like, the taxi driver is shady thing. We'd catch bad guys with our own hands. That's what my brother and I swore we'd do. Maybe that's how it was back then, but now your brother is evil. And so I thought that this was funny, right? Like, oh yeah, it's true that, he wants to be it when they play tag, and he chooses like this when playing Othello. Like, I didn't really understand that just because I haven't read Othello. I'm not too familiar with it, but I think it's basically like, yeah, like obviously he chooses the bad Power Ranger. I think they talk about that in the audio drama or something, that he always chose to be the bad guy. And so he says, like, he told me he's not affiliated with Dobu. And then I really like the little like diagram he draws right here. What kind of twins do you think we are? We're identical twins. So again, I feel like that, like, he is basically setting up to do a switcheroo to find out the truth. Like, what if he pretends to be his brother and then talks to Dobu and then finds out, like, that, he is, as they say, like, he is evil or corrupt and everything, right? Little Daimon, I'll give you an opportunity to catch Dobu. Really, that'd be huge, right? Because I feel like that Odokawa is basically manipulating his very, like, pure sense of justice, right? That his brother doesn't really have. But if you arrest him normally, he'd only be charged with a petty crime, right? And so it's like, you can't catch Dobu right now, you have to like catch him in the act, basically. And then I love this, like, whoa, you're evil, right? Because it's such like a basic look, like he has a very simplistic look on the situation. Oh, calm down, I'm pretending to work with him, but you'll gradually become more evil by pretending to work with him. And so I feel like that, for all of the overreaction, I guess, that is actually kind of true, because like, okay, so Odokawa and Dobu, they beat up like this innocent guy later in the episode, and I think like by a certain point, like the first hit, I was just like, okay, they didn't know that it wasn't him, but the guy said, I don't know what you're talking about, I'm just cosplaying, and like Dobu keeps beating him up, right? And so in a way, yeah, Odokawa has become a bystander, because he could have said like, bro, it's not him, like it's not him, right? They didn't know for sure, but I think it was pretty clear, like, bro, it's not him, like he is like literally just cosplaying like as the guy, which also isn't smart if the guy is still on the loose. Like, that's kind of weird, right? But it could have just been he wasn't cosplaying as the guy, as the gotcha guy, but just like, as a skull mask guy, I guess. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that line is interesting, because I feel like that's definitely foreshadowing, and that's so true, right? And so then he makes him a little chart, and I think that, like, I love their interaction here, just like, you can speak when I ask you a question, right? Yano, he's the kind of evil that stays hidden, and I just really like, again, the little diagram that we get right here, but I'm not really gonna, like, go into that too much, because it's all stuff that we already know, basically, except for this. Before we became cops, Dobu was arrested for robbing a bank. His boss may have been the principal offender, right? And so that was before they were cops, though, so that's just Dobu's history, right? And so then they write that the brother is one of, like, his associates, right? If you don't cut that out, like, he's like, I'll beat you up, right? Why would my brother work with him? I don't know if it's for money or something else. I think Dobu is buying off a cop, so it's easier for him to do his job. How can you say that without evidence? That's why you're gonna arrest Dobu. You'll find out. Then my brother will be arrested too, but he'll only be arrested if he's doing bad. So if you believe him, why do you think your brother will be arrested, right? And so then Odokawa says, well, it sounds like you're starting to believe me, because why would you worry about your brother being arrested if he didn't do anything wrong, right? And so I feel like that was actually like really slick. You just like evil, don't you? I hate it. Then if your brother is doing bad things, then you've got to punish him, right? So he's, again, like kind of preying on a very like idealistic mindset. He's trapping him in his own like logic, I guess. Otherwise, your sense of justice will waver. And I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of true. I also love this too, because like he's totally the type of person that would subscribe to Tachi's channel. You know what I mean? You guys do want the same thing. Exactly, right? And so then he's basically saying, that he's basically involved, like Tachi's involved because Tachi wants Dobu, right? Like that's the whole thing. Then we have the skull mask guy. So I just really, really like how they were able to kind of illustrate everything. Apparently it wasn't him, or actually it wasn't him. Apparently it was someone who stole Dobu's gun, and for some reason he wants to kill me, and that's how that happened, right? So he's basically catching him up to speed on everything that we've already kind of seen, right? And so he's saying that they kind of have like an alliance, like a temporary pretend like reason to work with Dobu, right? Because he's like, like that doesn't make any sense though, because why wouldn't you just tell the police about the skull mask guy? And so then he says, are you sure you're not actually smart? Like that's Odokawa talking to him, because he's basically saying, yeah, like you're smart, you're picking up on it now. If it was just the skull mask guy, I'd go to the police, but I have a grudge against Dobu too. And then he crosses out Miho on his little thingy, right? Like, that's what he has a grudge for. And so he's basically saying, I want to bring him to his knees. Like, you know, I want to pretend with Dobu because I have a personal grudge. It's not just because of the skull mask guy. See, I don't believe this robbing a bank thing, though. Like, I just don't believe it. I don't think he's gonna do it. So, anyway, they're just saying, like, you'll arrest Dobu, like, in the act, right? That's amazing if it's true, but you'll be arrested too, Odokawa. That's fine, we're doing this to punish evil, right? So it's almost like Odokawa doesn't care if he's in jail, right? Because, you know, as long as he gets back at Dobu. But he also said to Miho, though, like, you know, I'll just, like, not that he said that he would pretend that, like, he was forced to be an accomplice, but, like, I think he said that, and then he said, or maybe I will actually pretend to be his accomplice, right? Like, he said, like, either or, and so I feel like that he could just be like, bro, well, you know, Dobu forced me, bro, like, you know, you could say that to the police. He wouldn't be arrested, like, he could be arrested, but he may not be charged, you know, like, there's a difference, right? And so he's like, you're the opposite of evil, right? You know, you do things for the greater good, but, like, is it the greater good? Because, like, he wants to do it for his own personal grudge, right? You were really convincing, but it's hard to believe all of a sudden. I agree, that's why I'm gonna keep tracking down evidence. In the first place, I thought you were the kidnapper, right? And so now he wants to take a look around. And so this is really interesting because either, like, Odokawa is pulling, like, the biggest bluff right now of his entire life, or it's just a cat in that room. Like, it's not an actual person. Because there's no way, because he would have opened that door if it wasn't interrupted, right? There's absolutely no way that he could have, like, predicted that or something. So I feel like it can't even be a bluff. Because he was gonna open it, like, he was legitimately gonna open it and Odokawa wasn't worried at all. So it's either, like, one of two things, right? The high school girl is in there, but Odokawa doesn't know that it's a cat. Like, doesn't know that it's a person, I should say, and thinks that it's a cat, right? Like, basically, he's deluded himself into thinking it's an actual cat and not another person. That's, like, the only option that I could see, and that's why he was fine with Diamond opening the door, because he genuinely doesn't think that the missing girl is there, right? Like, that's my first thing. Or it is just a cat, and that's why he's confident with letting him open the door. Like, really, there's no other way. But that could kind of play in with, like, oh, you know, we need to treat Otokawa's brain and everything, right? Because what if he has deluded himself into thinking that, you know, like, the girl is a cat and she has been locked in the room all this time or something? You know? And then, like, we have this whole thing of, like, in the OP, there's symbolism of, like, somebody falling into, like, the lake. You know what I mean? And so, like, will Odokawa, like, realize what he's done and that he's, like, fucked up and, like, you know, do that to himself, right? Like, that's, like, a crazy, that would be crazy, like, if true, crazy if true. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I don't know. And so he basically gives him his phone number and all that stuff. And Kakihana, finally able to escape. I do like the little detail that they tried to, like, you know, bust his door open, but they weren't able to do that. And so he's basically going to meet Shiho now. And so then, yeah, Odokawa says, good girl, right? And I don't like that, right? Because obviously, I don't know, I still think it's a red herring and it's a cat. But, like, what if it's not? You know what I mean? Like, what if it is the girl and he just thinks it's a cat? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. An unidentified body has been found in Tokyo Bay, right? So obviously we would think that that's the girl, but that could be, like, anyone. You know what I mean? Like, we would think in theory that's the girl, but maybe it's not. I don't know, right? According to police, was killed elsewhere and basically dumped. And so then he says, now you can't escape. And I'm like, why? What does that mean? I don't like that, right? Like, what are you saying that for? I don't get it. Yeah, so meanwhile, Miho is sending messages, right? She's like, you know, Dobu has, like, let me off the hook, basically. I don't know why. I hope that you'll forgive me, right? So that was basically, like, proof that Dobu held up his end of the deal, right? And so, you know, then she goes to Goriki, she says she's sorry, right, that she's not gonna do it anymore. Odokawa must have done something, right? Odokawa said he'd pretend to work with Dobu, right, and so that's what got her off the hook. He's probably trying to save both you and me at the same time by doing that. Is there anything I can do? Well, I can't pay you, but will you help me with my work, right? So it's like, I can't put you on payroll because you're a criminal and you stole my medicine, right? But now, out of the goodness of your heart, will you help to treat Odokawa? I think is basically basically what they're getting at, right? And we have like a brain scan here, and so again, kind of more evidence that everyone's human, but Odokawa just kind of sees them, right, as like animals and stuff. So we have like height, and then we have the address. There's nothing really on here that like tells us what's like quote unquote wrong with Odokawa or anything like that. And so it's interesting because like what if that's the show ends and he's like treated and then like everyone's like human or something. Then we have this little like foot cramp scene. I don't know what this was, but like, oh, that happens to me all the time, but it's my calf. Like I'll pull a calf muscle in the middle of the night. I don't even know how. But yeah, maybe like I'm like, why did we need to see this? Like what was the point of this? Maybe it's that like he sleeps by the door in case the girl like thought of escaping, but he's gone all day. If the girl wanted to escape, she could have fucking escaped by now, right? The only other thing that I could think is that there's like one dish, but then multiple like drink things, right? And so yeah, that's the only thing. Then Kakihana is like lured into the darkness, and I'm just like, bro, why would you meet up in this shady place? Because look at her, she just like pops and like, you know what I mean? Like now it's in the cover of night and stuff, like, you know, like it's just not good. And so what do you mean I came at just the right time? And then he just gets whacked, right? Good work, be careful on your way home, and don't be late for the Halloween event in Shibuya. And so it seems like that's like the normal sort of thing, is that they like basically beat up the guy, and then after that they take his money, or I guess we'll see. And so yeah, everyone's dressed up for Halloween, but I don't think that I saw the masked guy anywhere. It's just like, you know, a bunch of people that have like masks and different costumes on. And then we have Yano, and this was like the weirdest I don't even know how to explain. This is the weirdest scene because he's rapping all of his dialogue, right? And I imagine that must be amazing in like Japanese, but then the translators, like the fact that they somehow like made it make sense in English and almost made that rhyme, because like gentler, tender, like it's not a perfect rhyme, but like technically it's a rhyme, right? You know, does as they please, right? Please me, you know, like kind of like rough rhymes, if that makes sense, right? And so yeah, Yano basically like raps all his dialogue, and he's basically like, apologize to me or I'll, you know, kill you, right? Because he says like, violence is my business, right? And so yeah, this is our first real look at Yano, and he's also wearing gloves here, and it's interesting because he's wearing gloves here, and then we see another shot of him where he like washes his hands to put the gloves on right before seeing Kakihana. So what was he doing just now? Was he doing something else bad, right, to have the gloves on when he runs into Odokawa? And so he's like, yeah, I'll basically kill you. That's what he says, right? If you don't apologize, bang, right? And so I think that, again, like, the brain thing was interesting because obviously we have, the scene with Gariki, but then he's also basically, like, saying your brain will be scattered because I'll shoot you. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think that that's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting to see him rap all his but I'm like, why, bro? Is this another, like, function of Odokawa's delusion, right? I don't know. But now, like, they're causing a scene, like, everybody's, like, looking and stuff. So I guess he's basically saying that Odokawa's apology is, like, lukewarm, you know, or cold, like, at best, like, it's not really all that genuine. He's just like, oh, man, like, you know, have some compassion, have a heart. He's like, I'll take it, I guess, but, like, you know, you're not being genuine. That's what I got from that. And I love this, because Rui is just fucking pissed off, bro, right? Like, she is so mad. Like, I've never, like, you know what I mean? Even in the other scenes where she had resting bitch face, I don't think we've ever seen her so mad before. And I guess because it's like her partners aren't here, but like, wouldn't these other idols take notice and like trash them online for it and be like, oh, you know, Rui acts all cute on stage, but she's actually a raging bitch. Like, you know what I mean? I'm surprised that she's not worried about her image in the other, like, you know, among the other idols, if that makes sense, right? And so then, it seems like Rui actually knows about Yano. And so I wonder when that happened, because it seemed like in the episode where she was first introduced, and like he took a call, it was like, nothing that concerns you, right? Like, she didn't know about Yano, but now she does, and so maybe she did always, and like, we just didn't know, right? You know? And so she also knows about like, the sugar daddy catching, right? Which is also kind of weird, right? She just knows everything, which I didn't think that she did, right? And so now she's like, hey, you know, like, by Christmas, you'll be pulling ahead of everyone, just relax, right? And so she says, I'd like to stop running the Badger games, right? And so it seems like she actually feels bad for what she did to Odokawa. But again, like, Rui is like, well, what can you do then? How are you gonna earn money for the agency, right? And so that's kind of interesting too, is that she knows about that and she has like zero remorse, right? And so I wonder, like, she's getting like more ambitious, more impatient, she's getting more irritated with her like teammates, right? With her idol mates or something. I don't know exactly, because she's like, you know, she's so happy sometimes, especially with like Baba and everything. And so maybe it's one of those things where like Baba is getting more success than her, even though she's the one that said like she would support them. And so now she's getting like irritated and kind of angry that the girls are like weighing her down. That could be it, right? But yeah. So then we have Odokawa and Dobu having this conversation. And so again, right, like, oh, was it my build or am I not blending in? Like, he's like, how did you recognize me even with the mask? So again, this is kind of like one of those indications that everyone is human, but Odokawa just sees them as animals, and that's why people look very different to him, because obviously like the variety of animals is kind of different than humans, right? And so he basically explains he didn't see his face, so he couldn't basically ascribe an animal to the masked person. I like the, can you see auras or something? I thought that was really cool. But when I never seen a guy's face and he's wearing a full mask, right? So he's saying like, you know, he can't recognize him when he hasn't seen somebody's face and he's wearing the mask, so he can't tell, right? So he can find Tachi, but he can't find like the skull mask guy. And so then they get some leads on Twitter. I'm in Shibuya now. If you see Dobu, let me know, right? And so they say that they'll start checking out anything that seems credible. I saw Dobu wearing a skull mask in front of 109, and then we also have I'm more interested in meeting our gods. So you can also see that like some people just want to like meet Tachi. They don't actually care about justice, which I think is like kind of the metaphor, is that they don't actually care about catching Dobu. They're just more interested in meeting Tachi. And so it's almost like these people say that they want justice, but they're not actually helping for the cause, right? Like they want to meet like Tachi instead. So that's kind of an interesting commentary right there. Then we have Rui performing, right? We have both of the girls dancing in the background, and then we see Imai in a little vampire costume, very cute, right? I wonder what's gonna go on with him though, right? Like what is like the metaphor with him wearing this costume, right? Like, you know, like is he going to find out about Baba and be like really like disillusioned with Rui? Like there's just so much to unpack there. And we also see that the officers have the ballpoint pen, which leads to the conversation that we hear in the audio drama, which I feel like wasn't really anything other than the fact like it was good for their like character, and you see the brother being more hesitant because he's basically like you know, forced into submission, right? Because he says, you know, like, when have I ever been wrong, basically. And then he brings up the times where he has been wrong, like his older brother's been wrong. And then he brings up all those times, and then he's like, I don't think you understand. When have I ever been wrong? And the little brother has to be like, never, right? So that's like straight up like abusive. And I saw someone in the comments of that audio drama, they were like, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. And I was, oh man, that was funny. Because that's exactly how the older brother is. It's like gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. That's how big Diamond is, right? And so you see he's like hesitant. He's like, yeah, brother, right? You know, he doesn't actually want to agree with him because they have this whole conversation about, you know, you're just bitter about Halloween because of X, Y, and Z. You do make mistakes, but like the older brother like won't allow that sort of like back talk. And so that kind of gives insight into their relationship. And so I do think that there is going to be a switcheroo where the younger brother does pretend to be the older one and talk to Dobu just to like know how Dobu like acts around him basically. And like then he'll like find out the truth that way. Right? And so I just love to see like all of the people like dressed up in the crowd. I think that that's so cool. And so they see someone, and we as the audience know that that's not like the skull guy, or I guess the gotcha guy, but right? They think that it is, which leads us into basically disaster. I love this though. He's got a gun though, right? Like be careful, you know, but then he's like, he better have the gun. Like he's not actually worried about like his safety, if that makes sense. Because Odokawa was basically trying to say, hey, you know, he's got a gun, right? So like, you know, be a little bit careful. But he's like, oh yeah, he better have the gun, right? You know, with like, he better hope that he has the gun. Like it's not even like, oh, that he's worried about the gun for his safety. It's like, he better have that gun, right? And so I thought that that was kind of interesting. And then we have Yano washing his hands again before putting on some gloves, right? And so I'm dealing with a lot over here, which is weird. Submission, addiction, and so I'm like, oh, are they talking about Kakihana? Wish I could take my medicine and go to bed, but a container ship? Please zip it. I won't do it again. I promise I won't do it again. And so I feel like maybe they're talking about, I don't know, like, was he just talking to himself? You know? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm very confused by that. And so it kind of seemed like, you know, oh, like he was talking to his phone, like his phone is bothering him, he's dealing with a lot, like why can't he just like go to bed, you know, and like, please shut up phone, like I won't do it again, okay, you know, stop it. And so, yeah, it's all, the only thing is, isn't it about time you told me your name? That's the only thing I don't really get, right? And then he picks up the phone and he's like, oh, it's, you know, it's the manager, right? If you don't get here soon, it'll happen again. So that's interesting. So what if it's not a girl that they found, like the dead body? Like, what if they accidentally went too far with one of the sugar daddies and like killed him by mistake? Or it could even have been like a sugar mama, you know what I mean? Like, why discriminate? Like, if a woman has money, maybe she met up with like Shiho or something, right? And so like, what if like that's basically what he's saying, like, meet me at the warehouse, so, or else I'll like kill this guy, like make sure it doesn't happen again? Maybe that's it, you know? Maybe they accidentally killed someone and they'll find out the autopsy was wrong, it wasn't a woman, and that was like accidental reporting, because we all hear that a body was found and they think that it's a young woman, right? And then we all think, phew, well that means that it's not the missing high school girl in Odokawa's closet, like she's dead, right? That's what we're supposed to think. But what if they come back and they say, actually, right, it wasn't a young woman, it was a man, right? Like, we misidentified the body at first, and it was one of the sugar daddies. They killed him accidentally. Like, they did too much, they killed him, and then they had to dump his body, basically, right? And so, like, what if then that's, like, the big, like, twisteroo, and that the girl still exists somewhere, you know what I mean? The girl's not dead, and maybe she is in Odokawa's closet, right? Like, that could be very interesting if that's what he means. Is that, like, you know, if you don't get here soon, it'll happen again, right? If you don't get here soon, manager, I'll kill this guy again, right? I'll go too far and I'll kill this guy, and that'll like mean that we have to bury another body, right? So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. The news report about the girl being found could be like accidental. It could be to make us think, oh, well, that has to be the missing high school girl. She's not in Odokawa's closet. But what if that's like a twist, and then the real dead body that the police found is like a man's body or something, like one of the men that was one of the sugar daddies and stuff like that. And so yeah, they basically like, oh, you know who I am? And so this is clearly one of Tachi's like fans, right? Oh, you got a bounty on your head, you work for Tachi. Stay back or I'll shoot. So that's interesting. He did have a fake gun with him, which is kind of weird. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you have that? I guess for your Halloween costume. But then he says, I don't know, that's not good enough, I'll kill you. You're the one who shot up the cabaret club. Yeah, wasn't that you? I'm just cosplaying. See, so this is when Dobu should have probably known that it wasn't him and stop hitting him, right? But then he just keeps doing it and beating him up, and then Tachi records the whole thing. And I wonder if he records it with Odokawa, like, in the shot, or if he doesn't care about Odokawa at all, because that's the only thing is, like, in here, Odokawa is being a bystander to this innocent person getting beat up, right? He could have said, hey, Dobu, I don't think that's him, I think he's telling the truth. Like, he could have spoken up, but he didn't. He was just a bystander to this, and you could basically say that what Little Damon said, like, if you keep working with Dobu, you'll actually turn evil. Like, that'll affect your, like, morality. Like, I think that is kind of true, because, I mean, Odokawa's always kind of been, like, the bystander type, so I feel like even if he saw this before, he wouldn't have done anything, but you know what I mean? Like, I think that was basically foreshadowing to this moment where he's just watching Dobu beat up this guy, you know? And then we see Tachi in like a clown mask and stuff. And so I feel like that's like a pretty apt metaphor, because you have, you know, a clown with this big smiling face, and that's kind of like YouTube personality, big smiling face. But then underneath, Tachi is again just a coward and a clout chaser and all that stuff, and they lose him inside of the crowd. And a lot of people are wearing the skull mask. And so it seems like it's a very common mask that some people, they were cosplaying intentionally as the guy who did the shot, but then it's also just like a very common like Halloween Halloween thing and they lost him there in the crowd. And then we also see Yano, and then we see again like the big polar bear, right? And so he basically says like, oh yeah, you know, like it's looking more and more like it'll come true. Like I didn't really get any of that. Like I don't really get what he's going on about here, right? He's basically saying like the violence of the present situation is just the preview, and so maybe he's talking to like Kakihana. He's basically saying like, hey, you know, this was just a preview, Kakihana, like let's, you know, keep it going, okay? Like things can get a lot worse than this if you don't cooperate, and that's basically where we leave Kakihana for now, right? Like we don't really know what they want. Do they want his credit cards, like I already said? Are they just going after the engagement ring? You know, is that like what they want and what they pawn off? Do they basically, are they gonna say like, hey, you know, get your family to wire us this money or we'll kill you, right? Like I wonder where they're going with that. But this episode is so interesting because it leaves very little foreshadowed compared to before. Like, there's very little for me to go off of in terms of predictions for next week and stuff, other than the fact, like, I feel like that, you know, they will probably run into Tachi, the Skull guy will probably be around, like, you know, we'll see what's happening with Kakihana, but I don't have, like, a prediction. Like, those are all things that are going to happen, but I don't have a prediction. We do see this scene, though, with Goriki and Odokawa, and so that would kind of imply that Odokawa, like, left the Halloween thing, like they gave up on finding Tachi or something, or maybe this is like a flashback to how their relationship or their friendship like used to be. And so I'm having trouble deciding what to do. I don't know how I feel about working for someone else, and so I guess maybe that was Odokawa talking. I don't know, but then we have this scene again, Kakihana, like he basically, you know, like throws down the ring box and he's like, oh, really? I can't forget the elation I felt then. You really did let yourself get carried away. So see, that's a weird thing. Like does that mean, like, did he feel elated when Dobu was beating up that guy? Or is that somebody else talking about, you know, something else? You really did let yourself get carried away? I feel like that maybe that's Yano talking, like, I can't forget the elation I felt when killing somebody, like when we killed the other sugar daddy, basically. Then we also have the comedian who seems really angry about something. So yeah, I really have like zero predictions, head empty, other than what I already said, which I think that maybe Kakihana will try to be like, bro, I don't actually have any money, you know, like, I'm sorry, but I can't I can't wire transfer y'all anything. I just wanna, you know, let me live, I guess. Or like maybe the whole lottery ticket thing could come into play somehow. Like, who the fuck knows? I don't know. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed my analysis though on the foreshadowing and the stuff I was able to pick up. I mean, I think I did a good job with the whole like sugar daddy is actually the one that was like, you know, thrown into the ocean, and that they actually found maybe the young woman being found is just a red herring, and it's actually gonna be revealed that Yano accidentally killed one of these sugar daddies. Like, that'll be the whole thing, right? Like, I feel like that you could get into some interesting territory with that, but otherwise, I don't really have very many predictions. We're just gonna go on along for the ride, I guess, at this point, right? And so I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for attending Calxiyn's Royal Court today, and I will see you later. Bye!